My name's Chris.
And I'm Kristie.
This is the Washing Up Podcast, and it's basically Ottolenghi week.
It is.
Because our episode is Ottolenghi.
It is. It's like we're just taking the second half of Legends Week, which is all Otto all the time.
All Otto. Like, we're putting out the Otto.
Yesterday was Otto, today was Lengy.
So yesterday was helicopters.
It was nice of Matt Sinclair to lend his helicopter to Otto.
They flew him in.
Lengy.
They flew him in from like such a long way away too.
Yes.
Like clearly he'd come from the penthouse over at Crown, and they'd flown him over the Yarra to a pontoon directly opposite Crown.
That's a real waste of a helicopter.
You've always wanted a helicopter.
I want to own one and I want to fly it. If I could go back and tell like my 18-year-old self what to do as a career, I'd be like, get your helicopter license. Like, just go do it.
I do kind of want to put out that I want a helicopter and I want to fly it because having one just sit in the front yard is kind of not really useful.
No, and it would be like, when you drive all the way down to Melbourne, you go through that town that has a random helicopter,
yes.
I think it is. Or maybe it's a submarine. I can't remember.
So
some kind of craft.
So we ended up with
all those restaurants that are just randomly train carriages. Like, there's not a train station anywhere near.
There's just a train carriage in there.
Train carriage, and it's like you can go get your meal and sit in a train carriage. I couldn't think of anything worse.
The most random train carriage since the one where Hitler made the French sign their surrender in World War II. Anyway, so Yotam Ottolenghi obviously was the person that we were dealing with. One of the weirdest things I think I've heard though was we're talking about the legend, and they're talking about. And they're starting to list all the different things that he's done, and they're talking about his restaurants, and they're talking about cookbooks, and they're talking about delicatessens. And someone said, "Is it Yotam Ottolenghi?" And Larissa goes, "Can't be. He's too much of a legend."
Whoa!
It's Legends Week, and he's fucking on Masterchef all the time, except for last year, as Paul Hooder pointed out. And I feel really bad for Hooder and Co. because. Like, Hooder's like,
this week's been pretty phenomenal.
Where's Yotam? I mean, I missed out on Ottolenghi. And before we get into going through point by point by point, something that you've pointed out in the last two nights is he looks genuinely thrilled to be there.
Yeah, he's just really there, checking out what everyone's doing.
It's not like when you get those guests that turn up and they're clearly, I'm here because contractual obligations mean I have to be here.
I'm here because I decided I wanted to upgrade my yacht.
To a slightly bigger yacht.
Yeah. I'm here because my restaurant in London is failing miserably and I need something to boost it.
And hey, why not open one at Crown?
And it was either not pay my staff or come on this show. And you know what?
I had to make a decision, and I don't want to model my career after you, George.
Yeah.
So Yotam flies in and they announced him. And everyone screams to ridiculous levels.
Do you think George was on the side going, choppers? Attention all personnel, attention all personnel.
Before the helicopter even took off, you just saw his head go and just looked to the sky. And like, so they broke into teams because, of course, it's a team challenge and it does help if you break them into teams. Now, they had three cuisines. They had Mexican, they had Malaysian, and they had Indian. Now,
all known for their street food.
All known for street food.
So the pressure was on for Sashi to pull out a...
No, Sashi, Sandeep.
Sandeep, oh my God. Hello, racist Kristie brain. I'm sorry, I'm so white tonight.
But look, I mean, the thing is that Sandeep got a bit of TV early, and then they've kind of taken a week off him.
Yeah, it's like...
And Sashi's been everywhere. And we talked about Sashi last podcast.
Don't try to cover it up. I'm just a white person.
Anyway, moving on. Because you're not, but anyway. Well, you are, but you're not. But anyway. So, a phrase that I'm going to enjoy saying a lot. They had to pick at George's coloured balls.
Had to reach into George's sack.
Now the first thing they did,
fondle his balls.
Now the first thing they did was they grabbed the yellow balls, which was Mexican. And that was Leah, Abby, Mr. Zoolander himself, Waleed, Kyle, and Nicole. That was the first team.
Yep.
Nicole obviously getting her master's in group work. This was the group work assignment.
Yeah. She's no slacker.
Now, the green was Indian, and Sandeep was desperate for Indian because he's not really keen to cook anything else in this competition.
Well, you know what, Sandeep? I think you dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, because Indian was Anushka, Tati, Ben, Blake, Christina, and Simon as team leader. And we'll come back to that because we'll park that there for a moment. As George said tonight when he looked at Blake's steak, park that. Because once the yellow and the greens had all been fondled, it was time to play with George's blue balls. And and all that was left was George's blue balls.
Who did he give those to?
And his blue balls were Malaysian, which was Steph, Sandeep, Tim, Larissa, Joe, and, of course, Tessa Ketty.
Yeah.
So, and they're interesting teams, I think. Now, the group that was doing Indian, which is the green team had issues all night.
Well, first of all, they wanted to cook some lamb. So Simon brings back beef. You know, Simon Splains lamb.
Yes.
It's actually beef.
Simon Splains, grab some beef.
Yeah.
Now, and then there's a moment.
Tati's like, we cannot use this.
And like someone's like, oh, that's right, Indian. Ah, okay, we can't do that. No, we can't do that.
And while there is beef vindaloo and a couple of beef dishes that I'm sure has just been created for Westerners, you know, Ottolenghi wanted it as authentic as possible, you know. Not as authentic as people waking up at midnight and preparing one specialised dish that they've been preparing for fucking years to then cook to order. No, he wanted authentic of three different styles in 90 minutes prep time.
Yeah, you needed to have one of those dishes as well was supposed to be veggie. So one veggie, two others.
Cool.
But the 90 minutes to do this challenge. Now, we're going to say a lot about this challenge and we're going to talk a lot about how crap a lot of it was. And before we lay into people, let's just stick up for them for a moment.
Yeah. You were given a bum challenge because the whole thing about street food is that we've been watching it on fucking Netflix. A lot of the time, you don't see when you're actually there at the stall. There's a lot of prep that goes into it, which is why it's so quick.
The prep takes forever, and the amount of stuff they had to cook for this challenge.
Yeah, it was insane.
And it was street food, but it wasn't because, like, normally when they do the street food challenge, it's the stalls and you got to come over and they get tokens and they go to the stall and... No, this was table service, and it wasn't... So it was street food, but it wasn't street food.
I mean, we saw some table service street food, but it wasn't like that.
But it wasn't... No, but it wasn't like the normal sort of street food thing where people go up and like, pick what they want. It was basically table service.
You're like, you're going to eat this, ta-da!
And the prep that goes into it, as you said, is you know, really involved. And they had 90 minutes to put on 2 dishes plus a vegetarian dish.
Yeah.
And make it, and that was from planning to finished in 90 minutes. That's stupid.
That's insane. One of the
things we said last year when we did the review with Robert and talked about what we wanted to see was realistic times.
Yep.
This isn't realistic time.
No. Essentially that's 30 minutes per dish.
Yep.
Like I know you've got several people working on it, but you know, a couple of those dishes to actually get out a whole one of them, you need everyone working on it at once, and it's just ridiculous.
Now, what I was impressed with was that Simon clearly had a strategy, and his strategy was avoid fish. And
lo and behold,
when they got the beef, not the lamb, that didn't work. Gary came over and yelled at them about, we told you to keep this really easy.
Yeah.
Why is your menu so complicated? Simplify the bloody thing. So Simon panics and goes, I'll just grab fish. And you could hear Twitter's collective, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you
and then that first cut into the fish, it's like you've learnt nothing. You've been watching Abby. You've been watching Rick Stein or having him in the house. Who was it on Tuesday night? Up against, what's his face from... I can see his face clear as day and I can't remember his name. Anyway, him filleting fish. Like, you just had all these people to watch.
Donovan,
that's it. And learnt nothing.
No, learnt absolutely nothing. So the team leader for the yellow team was Nicole, and Mexican cuisine. Now, unfortunately, at one point, I was not at the TV when Nicole turned around and said, "So, you're walking down the streets in Mexico. What are you expecting?" And all I yelled out from the kitchen was dysentery. And I kind of felt that it was accurate, but they came up with a really straightforward. Well, I'll give them credit for
an intelligent cook.
Yeah, so they came up with pulled lamb tacos.
Yep.
They came up with the Mexican beef. We'll talk about the Mexican beef lettuce cups because I wasn't aware that the Mexicans had Sanchoy bao.
But here we are.
And they serve Sanchoy bao.
And I've seen that done on keto things where people who are on keto and they can't have a tortilla do it in a lettuce cup.
True, but again, it just felt like Sanchoy bao, and especially since they had tortillas on the other one.
Yeah.
The third dish, and their vegetarian dish, we'll talk about them now.
You know what they should have whipped up?
Yeah.
Some fucking cornbread. Just serve it on some fucking cornbread.
What they did whip up was corn.
Yeah, that was a smart call.
Well, okay. It was corn, and they were thoroughly impressed by the corn.
Yeah.
Which was simply corn.
Hey, look, I had some stuff on it.
Simon can prepare corn in the opening credits of Masterchef. What happened was they didn't come up with this original inspiration. They just watched Simon's recording of the credits and went, Simon did that. Quick, give me the corn. I watched him. He smiles while he does it.
I didn't see as many flaming pastry brushes, though.
No, the pastry brush wasn't on fire. Everything else was.
Not the pastry brush.
Now, the tortillas for the tacos. So
I got some respect for Kyle. I got some sympathy. But then, as a lot of people pointed out on Twitter, you need help? Fucking ask for it. Go to your team captain. Oi, Nicole, I need a bit of help here. Who can you give me?
And the answer? He came out of nowhere.
Yes.
Came strutting out of nowhere.
Do, 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 do.
If you can find Zoolander, maybe you could hire him to crush your tortillas.
Like he's got the guns.
And they brought Yotam in for the show.
Yeah.
Like they brought him and stood there and, isn't that amazing? Look at how his muscles are just bulging while he crushes tortilla.
It's almost like he practices that in rep form every day.
Pumping bread.
I reckon he's going to go into the gym like in the Masterchef home. He's like, you know what? I'm changing those to tortilla presses now.
Forget a punching bag. He's punching dough.
Yeah,
just like dough balls all over the gym.
Yeah.
So that would be more impressive. But they did the tortillas, and the last person I saw make tortillas under that sort of stress was the podcast friend Robert Harwood.
Yes.
On New Year's Eve.
With additional stress because he had some... Kristie made screwdrivers.
Because somebody was plying him with alcohol.
Well, I couldn't drink it that night, so...
and they were wonderful tortillas. They were fantastic tortillas, and I just want to make it very public for the record right now. Robert, next time, we buy the fucking things. They were delicious. They were really delicious.
They began their process in 2018.
And we almost finished in 2019. It was that long a process. So they got into the challenge a little bit, and we saw that... so Nicole was running around trying to sort her team up, and they just actually went about their thing. Kyle had the problem in terms of what was going on and trying to get some help, and no one was helping him. And again, at one point, I felt bad for Kyle, which kind of gives you the idea about how desperate he was for assistance.
Yes.
So they were having those issues. The blue team, the Malaysian street food team, the biggest problem they seemed to be having was that, Nicole's leadership masters was going okay, but Joe... So
No, it was Tessa Ketty in the Malaysian team.
Oh, yes. So,
because Nicole did Mexican.
Yeah, she did Mexican, sorry. So, yeah, Tessa Ketty. So, the problem there for poor Tessa Ketty was Joe.
Yes.
Because
she's
beef
like,
skewers.
Let's get some char on that. And he's like, oh, no, it'll burn.
And she's like, we need some char. No, burning heaving breath, heaving. So, and then when the judging happened, they tasted it and went,
where's the char?
I'm disappointed they haven't charred these. And Yotam Ottolenghi's like, that's really upsetting and disappointing.
Look, you see how frustrating that is? That's life as a woman. You know, there's every woman out there can tell you times when they've told a guy to do something in a certain way because it'll just be better, and they fucking ignore it. And it could be, I don't know, you're playing trivia and you tell them, no, this is the answer, and they completely ignore you. And so you don't get those points, and lo and behold, you lose by that exact amount of points.
Look, I think what Kristie is saying is it can be really hard as a woman when you have a man come through and decide to explain exactly what the woman is going through. And I think what she's trying to say here is that it's a really...
Kill me now!
I figured I'd go...
Kill me now!
I figured I'd mansplain as long as I could before you tried to kill me.
You know, it was one up on mansplaining. Simon-splaining.
Because Simon says, let's not have a pan big enough for Tati to cook in.
Yeah.
Simon says. And you know what the problem was?
What?
So Tati goes on and decides she's going to make this fish curry, and she goes, who didn't bother to check the size of the pans? And she's got these 2 small woks going, I can't cook in these. And Simon's like, you're going to have to do it. And he's flustered and he's frazzled and he's running around, and it was kind of a bit nuts.
You know what Simon didn't say?
I was about to say. Then they turned around and went,
where's the... Cook some rice. Simon didn't say it.
Yes, and they went to cook the rice like it didn't say Simon says.
No.
So they found themselves with a curry, a fish curry, with no rice. Now, you know what they should have done?
What?
They should have gone over to the Malaysian team. Because over in the Malaysian team...
Good old Sandeep.
Sandeep has decided... First of all, Sandeep was trying to work out how... And he said openly... He was trying to work out how to shoehorn Indian into Malaysian cuisine. He gave up on that when he decided to make nasi goreng. So...
Here's the thing with nasi goreng. It's a fried rice. You use old fucking rice. You've used rice that's been dried out. Or, in a pinch, microwave rice works a treat because it comes out dry.
Dry anyway. Now, he turned around and said the secret to fried rice is fluffy rice. And I'm sitting there going... No, and Kristie makes an amazing fried rice. And Kristie's sitting there going, nasi goreng is a fried rice? What is he doing? This isn't going to work.
Oh, no. You'll make fried rice like my younger sister. She calls me up. She's wanting to cook for her friends. And she's like, oh, your fried rice recipe. She goes, I got some leftover rice. And I'm like, that's cool. But what she didn't tell me, it was really overboiled, like rice that she'd got from like a takeaway shop.
Oh, no.
That day. So she thought it was old because it came... Anyway.
No, you've got to let it
And then
out.
she perfectly diced, like, that's right, she wanted to do a stir fry. And she perfectly diced everything into perfect little cubes because my sister's OCD and wonderful and beautiful, but it was very small. Luckily for her, I'm like, okay, add this and this and this, you'll get yourself a san choy bao. Boom, problem solved.
Well done.
Because that rice was just going to glug it up.
So, Sandeep looks at the rice and he's forgotten to wash it.
Yep.
And so the gluten is everywhere. Elena Duggan couldn't have gone near it.
It's gluten. No, it's starch in rice. It was so was it starch in rice?
Yeah, but they were calling gluten.
Oh, okay.
I'm going with what they were calling. So we had the problem with that because like Sandeep's looking around going, I can't use any of this rice. Meanwhile, the other team's forgotten rice. I would have been going over and going, hey, Sandeep, we'll help you.
Yeah.
Right, we can help each other out here. One of us will go down the shops and get some packet rice. And like microwave packet rice, and we'll bring that back for you, and you can just use that.
Yeah.
And we'll have your cooked rice because we need something a bit gluggy to soak up the sauce.
Yeah.
Now, the person on Simon's team. Now we felt sorry for pretty much everyone on Simon's team, but the person I felt the worst for on Simon's team,
Anushka.
Yeah. So Anushka decides that she's going to do samosas.
Yeah.
Then Simon has a bit of a chat with Matt Preston, who questions his will to live. Simon devalues his will to live and goes, oh, no, we've got to change it. Do something different, quickly. Pies, tarts, make a tart. Like, just put... And she's like, I can't put samosa pastry in the oven. It's not designed for that purpose. No, do it. So Anushka's like... And then Anushka's bit to Cameron was brilliant. What she basically says is, oh, I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I did it.
And here's the thing. Here's the difference, right, between Anushka and Joe. Anushka went, okay, Captain, I'm going to follow your orders. I'm not going to do it to everything, but I'm going to do a tester. Let's see if this works. And I'll show you in the evidence. What Joe should have done is charred one, both tried it and decided if it would work or not. Like,
Yep.
That's the difference there. That's the level of respect you need to show your captain.
And I really was... The thing that actually upset me the most about Simon Splains was... When they went to serve, so they did the chicken, they made a tandoori chicken first, and that looked decent, but they covered it in coriander. And they couldn't work out why. Then they went up and went, okay, so we've the chicken's okay. Let's get to the second dish. Not brilliant, but it's okay. Get to the second dish, and it's the vegetable samosas that Anushka made. And Simon comes up, and remember, this is a team challenge. Everyone is involved. He puts the samosas down and goes, "Vegetarian samosas by Anushka."
Oh yeah, let's throw someone under the bus if you think that.
Thinking they were going to be a bit shit.
Yeah.
By the way,
they were the best thing on the team there.
They liked them.
Yep.
They thought that the samosas were actually quite good. Then we get to the curry. And the pause on ad breaks. Look, we talk a lot about the pause on the ad break. And what I want to give them credit for is a perfect pause on an ad break moment where he puts the fish out there and puts the plate down, and Gary looks at him and goes, "Did you plan on serving rice with this?" Pause. Because there was a moment.
Was it George?
Where they turned,
Kristie Splains now.
where they turned around and went, "All right." It was George, you are right, it was George. Yeah. Well, you're going to serve rice with that? And you could just see Simon weighing it up with the angel and devil. Do I cop to it and say we were but we didn't, or do I say no, the flavour of the curry is enough, we didn't want to delineate what he should have done? The flavour of the curry we thought would carry it. We didn't want to use the rice, we didn't want to add starch. What he said was, oh yeah, we didn't get time, we just plain forgot to put it on.
Well done, Simon.
At that point,
you led your people to victorious blacks.
Yeah. At that point, they were in big trouble. And when they did the judging, it was quite clear that yellow had won, although there's no winner in this. But the winner is, not having to get anywhere near elimination.
Yeah.
And then it came down to the greens and the blues. The problem, as they said, was the blue team fucked up the rice, but everything else was fine.
And the green team also served one of the sauces twice, the not quite righter.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
That was weird. But it was quite clear that the green team was going into elimination. So that made the internet angry.
Yeah.
The internet feared for their darlings.
I mean, the beautiful thing about seeing the green team last night is we got to see Ben a couple of times, quick flashes. That's about it.
We got a bit more of Ben than we wanted tonight, and I'm not saying that because we didn't want Ben. I'm saying because if we see Ben in this context, we've got a problem because we didn't actually want to see Ben in the blacks.
Nah.
I felt really bad for the fact that he had to cook tonight. I felt really bad for the fact that Tati ended up having to cook tonight.
We didn't want Ben in black.
We're the Twitter defenders. We didn't want Ben in black. We also saved Tati. Let me see you see Blake with it. Just Blake with it. Sorry. I felt really bad for Blake. Well, let's get into it. So, they started off by when they got them all up there in blacks tonight. The first line, Matt goes, all of your dishes were missing something. And in my head, I've got Simon's gone, it was rice, wasn't it? It's definitely rice. 100% rice. So
missing, you say?
We have a great challenge in terms of the deli counter comes out.
Oh, love that.
I loved your moment, by the way, when and this is the way that this works when we sit there and watch. Tati's up on the screen talking about, I know I'm in blacks, but life can't get any better. To which you just go,
you could be on the gantry. That'd be a bit better.
That would make it a lot better. Look, you know what? I'd rather be sitting on the gantry than having to cook down there. But Yotam, and I'm like, don't fall for the whole thing that we got last week with Nigella Week and Abby. Yeah. Where it's like, I know my dishes have been shit, but I'm cooking for Nigella again. Don't do that. Don't be that person. Gets a bit creepy. So Anushka was worried because her head was on the chopping block and her mind was being played with.
Is that what happens on chopping blocks?
No.
Not even in, Tudor times?
No, your mind spills out.
Oh.
If your head's on the chopping block, your mind's about to spill out of your head and roll to the front row.
So Anne Boleyn didn't have, a quick game of mind being played with?
She had a chance to do a Sudoku. And if she could land the Sudoku properly,
Yeah.
She was fine.
She's not a numbers woman, though.
Not a numbers woman.
And Henry knew that. He knew she was a crosswords chick.
That's why the trade deals fell apart. It was all about... The marriage fell apart because she couldn't do the calculations of the trade deal.
No.
That's all what it was about. Forget the whole church thing. It was all about trade and Sudokus. The number of royal weddings that have fallen apart over Sudokus. I mean, they should ask Tim. I mean, as a member of the royal family, currently undercover. Now... My only disappointment about the challenge tonight. Why didn't the pescatarian have to do it? Because I just wanted to see Kyle have to eat all the cured meats.
He would have guessed the cheeses and the smoked trout, though.
That would have put him in elimination, because once you get down the well of some of those cheeses, you got to know. Once you're in like 15...
Unless the Swiss, which is fucking obvious.
once you're into like your 15th version of an olive.
Is it provolone?
Like 15 versions of an olive, and you're like, I don't even know what the fuck this is anymore.
I meant provolone cheese, not olives. You know.
No, I know what you meant. Cheese was the other one we're talking about. Mm-hmm. So, and... Yotam, they asked Yotam a question about what he appreciated about delis.
Yeah. And
he gave some answer about the freshness and the vibrancy and the flavour, and all I could think of was money, because he owns a bunch of them.
I wonder if he had to bring that. Like, that was his...
It's his counter. He carries them. Nigella brings all the condiments with her. They're in a bag. He just carries a semi-trailer with his deli. He carries the deli with him. You know, again, Crowded House once wrote a song for it.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, you'll always take the deli with you. Everywhere you go, you'll always take the deli.
Take the deli.
Look... It was a great song. I mean, they made some changes, obviously, when they released it as a hit single, because apparently there were some countries where deli didn't translate.
Like, India was just like, what? You're taking a whole fucking city?
But Yotam, he gets it.
He's got his travel deli there.
He's got the travel deli ready to go. What you didn't see was his 3 staff that just travel with the deli.
Carrying around the slices.
And more importantly, there's a moment from my childhood, and I've mentioned it before, the local shopping centre that we went to at one point had, to keep the kids entertained.
What?
There were a number of like barnyard animals all the way around the grocer section and around the meat section.
Now that's what you call a Super Franklin's. It was Super Jules.
It was a Super,
Super Franklin's.
Super
Franklin's
Jules.
Fresh.
Yeah, Franklin's Fresh, yes.
Yes.
And so my favourite one of the buttons.
Yeah.
And I've said this before, but it bears repeating because there's a lot of people who have never heard this before, and apologies, was the button that you pressed over the top of the deli, and there was a cow and a pig having a conversation, which I thought was wrong. And the butcher, which I think was the pig, turns around and goes, "Welcome to the deli. What'll it be today?"
Oh, my God.
And the pig goes, "half a kilo of your best mince." And then they goes, "All right, here you go." And it was just an awkward ending. Like they've got this song, "Welcome to the deli. What'll it be today? Half a kilo of your best mince." All right, there you go. And just like, it felt like something was missing.
Yeah.
I wanted to hear the rest of the dialogue. I wanted to hear the rest of the song.
Like, wouldn't he have like finished off with a bit of a song like, "Thanks very much for shopping and have an awesome day." Like, just...
What about prosciutto?
Yeah.
I need more stuff today.
I know you're a pig, but try some ham.
I'm not really into cannibalism. All right, off you go. But all I could think about with that challenge was that above the cabinet, when they were in trouble, their lifeline should have been push a button, and the Franklin's Fresh cow would appear and sing what it might be, and you had to work it out in a riddle format.
George didn't do it because he was doing impressions of all the deli workers. And I'm sorry, George, you didn't get my favourite deli workers. There's this awesome continental deli, a part of this like fruit barn, and it's very Italian. It's great. But the women who work at the deli counter, I swear blind, will want to kill you. Like, there.
They really do.
They no smiles. It's all fucking serious. I'm like, "Hi, how you going?" And they just like death stare. You're just like, "Cool, I'll just grab some thinly sliced prosciutto about it." And it's like, oh,
was that the place where you also bought the prosciutto butt?
Yeah, for you.
Yeah.
And when I asked for that, oh my God, It was like I just asked for her to hand over her firstborn baby.
We may have a home deli slicer. So maybe just a little bit. So, like, we were really in for this challenge because, you know...
It's from Aldi, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was actually. Of all
Good
places.
old Aldi.
Of all places.
We just went down there for some dinner ingredients and came home with a deli slicer.
So we know that these challenges can go quite badly because people yell out random things when their brains aren't working. And as we started the game of what I believe our good friend Josh referred to as what's that penis thing? Everyone was guessing really well. I mean, to be fair, they were doing things like picking, like Ben picked bacon, and they all picked really obvious things, which is good. That's smart. That's what you do.
Tomatoes.
Don't be stupid and, you know, pick corn relish and try to come up with a weird definition as to what it is, you know. So we then got the first person to go up. Look, the internet was... God, the internet was crestfallen. So Ben goes up.
Oh, Ben.
And he picks up what is, unfortunately, clearly prosciutto. Mm-hmm. And he gets up and he goes, that's pancetta. And I stopped and it's like, oh, God, no, Ben.
I started to question my own understanding of deli meats at that
maybe
point.
It is. Maybe it is.
Maybe it is, and it's going to work out well, and it's going to be fine.
And you could just see the look on the faces of the judges was like, oh, that's not good.
No.
And then Tati got up and did something that I questioned, which was, like, didn't go for something ultra obvious.
No.
Like, never go for a vegetable that is some way, shape or form cured in something.
Exactly.
Because if you go for one of those, the chances are you're going to get it wrong.
Although, like, the artichokes are fucking obvious, and she got that correct first off. And yeah, the capsicum, I reckon once you taste it, you'll know what it is. And I've been disappointed a couple of times at the deli when I've gone, oh, cool, there's some marinated capsicum. And I've gone, oh, it's just those shitty sun-dried tomatoes. Okay, the late 90s called. They want their sun-dried tomatoes back. Enough now, please.
You know what would have made that easier for you?
What?
There was a giant, like, pepper. And you hit a button and it went, welcome to the grocer. What'll it be today? That would have made it so much easier for you.
Yeah, see, Franklin's Fresh, the first one was to open up in Leichhardt in Miscellaneous City. And my delightful friend Jackie got a job there when we were at school. And they had to wear these, like, gingham shirts and the
striped aprons.
Yeah, the striped aprons. It was so naff. And one day she forgot her apron or something. She was in big shit. And, yeah, she said she was always placed near the fucking cow that was above the dairy. And she was, like, ready to shoot it.
I would be too, because it used to just sing a solo song and it was really annoying, and the head would go at 100 mile an hour, and I couldn't stand that one. I was more into the Welcome to the Deli.
I was wondering if it's Welcome to the Dairy. What'll it be today?
I want to squeeze your tits. All right, there you go. Milk waterfall,
farm fresh. Putting the fresh in Franklin's Fresh.
You get the option of, do you want a bottle of milk from the cabinet or would you rather catch from the teat?
Straight from the
milk just raining down. Suddenly shopping has become an active adventure. So Tati's out and Ben's out and we're like, oh. And then the internet banded together and went, we like all of you, but whoever the third person is, we're really sorry.
Yeah.
But it's got to be you, because Tati and Ben must be protected at all costs.
Sacred cows they are. They're like the beef that Tati saved.
They're like the beef that Tati saved, and they're like the beef that Simon didn't use. So what I do love is, does Gary live for this challenge?
Gary lives for everything at the moment.
Because it feels like Gary lives for this challenge on the basis of he really likes drama face. Like, he likes pulling his drama and goes, oh, you're right. Oh, and it's like there's gurning going on. It's like Julia Morris in, like, 1998 Full Frontal. How many faces can you pull in a minute? Well, Gary's trying. And my God. Look, I never thought I'd say this, but George Colin Burris was understated.
Yes.
Compared to Gary.
Actually, I enjoyed his little deli bit. I thought that was quite cool, and he actually got the feel of it quite nicely.
I felt sorry for Preston because, like, he's taller than the other two.
Yeah.
And so when he leans over the counter and talks, it looks creepy.
Plus, it looked really fucking hot in there today. I mean, Leah's hair was visibly
Once upon a time, she was
wind.
falling in love. Now she's only falling apart.
Yeah.
Because it was total eclipse of the heart style wind machine up there. The fans, they had industrial fans, and they were all facing the wrong way in the gantry, but Gary yelled out, "Turn around."
Now, you know what it was? I reckon she was also auditioning for Eurovision at the same time. She was sending in her clip. She's like, "Can I just borrow the gantry? A bit of wind machine."
Because the wind
and she's like, "Guys, if you can burn some stuff down there," she's like, "Look, you can just do me a solid, bro. Just burn something, send some smoke upwards. It would really capture the essence of this."
Now, so we ended up with Blake as the third person. So we ended up with, as our good friend Leo has referred to it, two Trents and a Tati. So now I felt for poor Blake. One, because the internet clearly wanted to protect the other two at all costs. But two, much like we've complained about, Ben has got no time.
Yeah.
Blake's had about 3 seconds more.
Yeah, he really hasn't been a feature, apart from the time he didn't cook some chicken. His time in the limelight really hasn't been a positive.
Notice how early on a couple of times they did how could we forget? And they've reflected on things. And with Blake, it was kind of like, I'm sorry, Blake, that wasn't up to scratch, leave.
Yeah.
And that was it. There was no, how can we forget? It was like, go.
It's like Jess got a bit of a montage and Blake gets...
Yeah, there were montages for other people and Blake didn't get Blake, who can forget it was...
Yeah.
Leave.
But on a good note, first man to leave.
Look, it's about time.
It's about time.
So, just to go into the actual challenge, before we just skip straight past it.
Oh, true. Look, things went on and we just, saw Blake go. There we go.
No, Ben gave a monologue.
Yeah.
Ben gave his version of All the World's a Stage and all the men merely players. Ben's had the long, beautiful soliloquies that are out there, the long, long, rambling, winding roads. Ben turns around and goes, "I make it at home," when he was talking about prosciutto. That was it.
Yep.
But that's more than he said the rest of the fucking series.
It's like Ben.
Why did they give him a microphone? Seriously, I felt for poor Ben. He's like, "I've got to say something. Shit, I haven't done it." shit. And you can tell he's got a science background, with the pharmacy stuff, because he made honeycomb. And, every science graduate that I know lives for the honeycomb experiments.
Nice.
So...
I presume when he's back there in the dispensary, preparing Webster packs for Mrs. Patterson, he's also just whipping up a batch of honeycomb for the staff.
Welcome to the chemist. What'll it be today? A half an ounce of your best Prozac. All right, here you go. It works for everything. I want every single shop to be this.
Welcome to the funeral home. What'll it be today?
Get out of my head. A large size casket, please. All right, here you go. Sorry for your loss. That was exactly what I was thinking. Get out of my...
Also for illicit operations, welcome to the drug dealer. What'll it be today?
No, it's better than that. Welcome to the alley. What'll it be today? A half a gram of your best Coke. All right, there you go.
Mr. Collarbars.
So anyway,
allegedly, I'm not.
Allegedly.
No, it's actually going to be crispy crackly, doesn't it? Because he's pumping
He's pumping
at the moment. Jesus, high on life.
So more importantly, Blake decided to go different, and the reason why Blake ended up going home is he tried to get ultra fancy with something that shouldn't have been ultra fancy. He went, "I'm going to make a filet mignon." Well, okay, first of all, you're supposed to hero the deli ingredient. He went with bacon and then decided he was going to do it differently by making it a bacon crumb. And I'm like, that's downgrading the bacon.
See, what I would have done is a carpet bag steak.
Yes.
But instead of using oysters, I would have used mussels.
Yes.
Or I would have done a seafood thing where I've wrapped mussels in bacon and then cooked that because it's fucking delicious. Whack that on top of the steak. Away you go. Oysters Kilpatrick.
You would have just made that anyway.
Oh. That would be my bench snack.
I would have taken bacon and I would have wrapped it in bacon.
Yeah.
And then I would have put some bacon on a skewer.
Yeah.
So I would have had bacon wrapped in bacon with bacon skewers. And then with the deli meat, no. But what Blake then decided he was going out to the garden because the garden was in play as the drinking game remembered. And by the way, for those following along with the drinking game, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry because the drinking game, it's had a lot of hits this week.
Yeah.
It's had more hits than normal this week, actually.
Oh, my God.
Well, the first night, when we got to 2 minutes in and we hit 6 times.
Thanks, Abby.
Yeah, and again, thanks to Abby's overuse of the word beautiful this week, I believe that there's
and
emergency
I can't believe
boards.
I'm cooking for.
Yeah, she couldn't believe she was cooking for anyone, could she?
And we want to thank Blake for picking up Abby's mantle tonight.
Oh, tonight, Blake hit 3 in a row.
Yeah.
And he turned around as the garden's in play and Blake goes sprinting for the garden. Why? He decided he needed some herbs. And I'm always happy when someone needs herbs because I get to make Dave Dobbin references and but he burnt the bloody herbs. So he burnt those herbs
to cinders.
Really badly, and that's where he hit the I looked away for a moment.
What'll it be today?
A half an ounce of your best powdered up herbs. All right, there you
best
go.
turn. What the herbs?
So, yeah, the challenge itself then basically revolved around Ben being told, we're worried about how deconstructed your dessert is. And it was. Yep. And that was a problem, and we were all worried. And Ben, young man, never fucking do that to us again.
No.
We can't cope with it. All right? We can't. Tati we don't have to worry about because Tati made a laksa that was fucking incredible.
Yes.
Her laksa was brilliant.
And then she's frying off tofu and I'm just salivating.
You nearly cost us everything, Ben. Do you know how hard Twitter has worked to recognise you? To identify you? To be able to pick you out of a crowd?
Yeah.
It's not easy when they don't show you on camera.
No.
And you thank us by nearly going home? Well, I can't cope with this.
I just want to point out, though, that like the Trents, he'll probably just retire to the rafters and just ninja his way around the Masterchef kitchen.
I told you, the 3-person bench looks like a real thing. now, Paul Blake did the reverse Trent and Trented himself out.
Yes.
Wasn't important enough to be noticed and then wasn't important enough to stay. And I felt really bad for that. Blake, apart from burning the herbs, also made, let's face it, clag glue.
Oh, and you just saw everyone's face on the gantry. They just knew.
But it's okay, because you know what he decided to do after he made clag glue?
Put it on the plate.
Elevate the dish.
Oh, that's right. Let's make a sauce.
All right. So, how do you elevate? This is a genuine question. I want somebody to answer this for me. How do you elevate a dish where you've burnt one element of it and the other element is glue? Don't serve either of those elements is the answer. No. He put it on the fucking plate.
His pom puree did look like it could be used for some arts and craft time, making some paper mache.
This is an art attack.
This is an art attack.
This is Masterchef. So when they did the judging, first of all, they had to just put Tati out of it and go, yeah, you're fine. Go run, be
sorted.
Free. And then I will give them credit again. As we said last time, they were really good when it came to, we're not going to fuck around, we all know what happened here.
Yeah.
So even though they weren't particularly happy with the fact that Ben had plated what they refer to as things on a plate.
Yeah, I mean, I was a bit worried because he's walking down like, oh, that looks like chips and dip again. He's already done chips and dip.
Yeah, look, it wasn't the best, but it also had flavour elements they liked.
And technique.
Like, Otterlingy's comment was, it's not bad, it's not good, it's there. It's not really elevated. It's just a thing, and it tastes okay. It tastes fine, but it doesn't pop.
Yeah,
and that's fair enough, and that's fair enough feedback. And then they just looked at Blake and went, Blake, that wasn't to standard.
No.
And so Blake had to go. And look, Blake had to go. There wasn't really an option there.
And I think it kind of, like even with Jess, like you saw her have some moments of some highs and lows before she went. there weren't any real, like, standout things for Blake, which is a shame.
No, as you said, when they did the montage, they didn't do a montage.
No.
And I was a bit worried for the poor bastard because they pointed out at the end, they did the whole what's he doing now. And I believe he's working now in his parents' restaurant.
Yeah.
And I thought for half a second it said that he's moved out of his parents' home. And I felt really bad that was the update they had for him. I'm like, oh, parents' restaurant. Okay, now that makes more sense. So, adieu, Blake. We hardly knew ye. That's kind of your lot for this week. It was Legends Week. It was Legend, wait for it, I hope you're not lactose intolerant because the next part of this sentence is going to be dairy. And more importantly, I think for us personally, the drinking game has hospitalised many.
We just want to wish you well.
Yeah, we want to wish you well. Also, we saw the debut last night, the pilot episode of An Evening with Kristie.
Yeah.
Now, obviously tonight there seemed to be a bit of a director's change.
Yeah, unfortunately, because this is Australian television, and I was really looking forward to it. I realised it's essentially Gogglebox without seeing clips of the show and a lot more swearing.
Without the goggle, but a lot more box.
Yeah. Or more goggle and less box. And they basically said, look, Kristie, you're hilarious, whatever, but sorry, Dale, you're over 23. We just can't have you. And you're not even a blonde, you know, and you're not even like a distinguished lady of Australian, like, you know, history that we can put on there.
But luckily, I'm a white male aged between 18 and 39. Everyone listens to me, no matter how stupid my ideas are. So, look, to be honest, I don't want it. So I hereby cede back to you.
All right.
An Evening with Kristie. I feel like An Evening with Kristie is better served when it's hosted by Kristie. And, like, as much
maybe
as...
I just keep it an independent, like, kind of...
Independent production,
you know, just...
I think it's the best. I think it's the best way to do it.
We have pop-up, you know, TV, really.
I think it's a really good idea. Now, it's just a couple of things before we finish off. First of all... if you are still thoroughly confused by what the hell happened in these episodes, go check out Ben Pobgy's reviews.
Oh, yeah.
He does an amazingly good job. He's really funny, and it's the way that we keep up with things when everything's going 100 miles an hour and we're doing things like, you know, An Evening with Kristie.
I'm also going to do some more spice for comment. Now, we know Mama Jo's spice is bloody delicious, but support another woman in Australia, Honey Creole's Corner. Like, fuck me. The stuff you get, she's based in Tasmania. Just check out the Facebook. She's on Twitter as well, but, you know, she's promised me spice, and I said, I'll promise you some comments. So really...
So you're spice for commenting? Why wasn't I told about this? Because I would have been on that.
Well, I kind of figured I'll eat like 3/4 of the spice and maybe sell some of it, and then that'll be going towards my golden microphone.
I'm also... And this isn't spice for comment because I'm not getting any spice for this, but I literally just want to say, with Mama Jo's... all I've heard on Twitter about the latest batch of spices is the La Bu Long Time is apparently amazingly good. Yeah. I can't wait for our next order where we're going to get some of that. And let's just mention Huda and Robert because they're awesome people.
Yeah.
We don't actually have anything to plug for them. We're just mentioning because they're
Moorish
awesome
cakes.
people. Moorish Cakes, of course.
Monica was a finalist in the Haute Couture cake decorating. It was mighty haughty.
And then she was judging as well with Adriana Zumbo, which I know for her, that's a big thing. She's a big fan of Adriana Zumbo. She fangirls every time she sees him. and again, makes amazing cakes, you know, may have made our wedding cake.
Oh, and it was fucking delicious. Oh, the other thing I have to say about Honey Creole Corner is that she'll be at Dark Mofo by the looks, so check that out.
That'll be wonderful.
If you're in Tizzy.
And if you want any form of plugs, well, you know, talk
just
to us.
Tell us.
We're easy. You know, we
do it for free.
Yeah, we just sort of
you don't even have to go. I'll send you something. I mean,
we're like a community notice board, really.
Yeah.
Without less pins.
We need boom, boom, boom. Hello and welcome.
No. Welcome to the notice board. What'll it be today? A couple of mentions of your best spice. All right. There you go. Anyway, until Monday night when we're back to normal fucking schedule.
About fucking
finally,
time.
Possibly with a guest. Not saying any more than that. I'm still Chris.
And I'm still Kristie.
And we will catch you all on Monday.
Welcome to the podcast. What'll it be today?